With ELISA, it all comes down to usability. You already have a complicated assay behind you with a lot of different steps, a lot of waiting, incubation times, often over the course of a couple of hours. So it's essential that that last step, the readout, just work properly. Not fumbling around on a little touch screen, not dealing with 1,000 different settings, just having exactly what you need in the simplest way possible. Many of our users of Absorbance-96 run ELISAs, so we're going to be talking about some of the most typical questions that arise when considering Absorbance-96 for an ELISA workflow. Absorbance-96 can accommodate 4 different wavelengths, and in keeping with ELISA assays, there are sort of different substrates that go along with different wavelengths. So for example, 450 would be a traditional wavelength for a TMB ELISA, and you can select this in the software by clicking at sample wavelength on 450 nanometers. This is often something you will see in ELISA protocols, 450 with a minus symbol, 620. What that's referring to is a reference wavelength, and you can definitely set that up in the Absorbance-96 app. So we have set our sample wavelength previously at 450. Now we would have to select a reference wavelength, for example, at 620 nanometers. What will then happen is the results that we calculate at 620 nanometers will be subtracted from those values measured at 450 nanometers. Yes, you can perform both quantitative and qualitative ELISAs with Absorbance-96. This is again a software setting, so if you navigate to our software under evaluation, we can select a quantitative setup where you will be, for example, plotting a standard curve and calculating the concentration of an unknown. Alternatively, we can select qualitative. This is where you will, for example, set up a cutoff where you can then calculate a positive or a negative result based on those designated parameters, including, for example, an input formula and a limit formula. Absorbance-96 offers various different evaluation parameters or regression methods, if you so will. So if you go to quantitative in our software, you will see that there is an option there for fitting methods. We can then select any fitting method that is in the drop-down menu. For example, for parameter regression is something that we do have, which you would then just select, and this will automatically be run along with your standards and your samples. The Absorbance-96 app does allow you to set up validation parameters. So if you scroll down in the main window to assay validation, you'll see here that we have smart validation. This is sort of BioNoise proprietary validation. We kind of just check your assay, make sure everything's working properly. We check the values of your CVs and perform some other checks kind of in the background. But you also have the option here to set up a new custom validation where you could, for example, just validate the values of your blanks, make sure they're not too high, and you can just set that up very easily by typing that in, pressing enter, and that will be all performed automatically. There's varying customer feedback on the size of the instrument. I would say maybe the most extreme case of where the size is particularly advantageous is with people who are interested in doing field studies. So this is something that we've seen in maybe marine biology or certain ecology applications, but also in field studies that are being performed, for remote diagnostics or something like that. But I would say for most people working in a lab, the main benefit of the small size is not only saving space on your benchtop, but really allowing you to use the reader in kind of a decentralized fashion. So you don't have to rely on a centralized piece of equipment that is in another laboratory somewhere. You can have this really at the location of the application. The main thing that our customers mention about the Absorbance-96 app is its user-friendliness. So basically, anyone can use our software. You don't need training to get started using it. And it kind of just has a very logical flow to it, which is mentioned a lot by our customers. So you kind of start at the beginning and end at the end. And that's really something that's appreciated by a lot of our users.